What's going on, everyone, and welcome to the channel. Nick Corona here, and today we're going to be talking about the Tinyhawk 2 by EMAX. Now, if you're looking to get into FPV drone flying, this might be the one for you. This is one of the most complete, cost-effective kits you can get. It's about 150 bucks. You can get the drone, which comes with your transmitter, the goggles, batteries, and a couple other little accessories that you obviously might need to fly. Today, my goal is just to show you guys the Tinyhawk 2, give you my first impressions on flying it, someone who's flown a lot of drones, and just kind of get into it a little bit and to help you decide whether or not this is the right drone for you. So first of all, it just runs off these little 2-cell LiPo batteries, and it actually comes, depending on the kit you get, it comes with two 2-cell batteries, and then it also has I'm sorry, these are 1 cells, and then it comes with a 2-cell. Now, you might have seen this in some of the advertisement. It comes with this little sheet of paper that essentially tells you, hey, don't just plug in the 2-cell battery. You actually need to change the profiles. This is a little bit more in depth than I have been willing to get yet. That gets a little bit more into the FPV programming, doing things side where I just kind of want to fly. So I haven't used the 2-cell battery yet, and I'm just going to set that aside for this review. Yeah, we're just going to be talking about the 1-cell batteries in this review. They charge really fast. It comes with this little kind of interesting looking motherboard exposed dongle, and you can just plug it into any USB port, and then you see this on the other side. That big one is the I can't remember what you call it, the equalizer. When you do 2 cells, you got to make sure they charge equally, and that's what it does. So it's a nice little charger. The charger it comes with will do 2 in 1 cell. It also comes with 4 spare blades, which I have already broke at least one of. They just press on, no tools required. You can see here, I can just I don't want to break it. You can tell, look how strong this drone is. I mean, it can really take a crash. It's super flexible. There you go. As you can see, it just pops right off. So a lot of times when you crash, you're just popping those off and popping them back on. The Tinyhawk 2 has a little camera right here. It's not, you know, this camera is just for the goggles. So let's go over the goggles. It comes with these goggles. They're obviously not the craziest, most expensive ones that money can buy, but they do the job. You got a battery pack here that you charge up, and it sits on the back of your head. My one complaint about this is, I guess there might be more than one complaint. The range isn't very far. That's not the end of the world, but my biggest complaint is I have no way to record this footage. There's nowhere to put, you know, an SD card in here, and there's no way to put one in here. So I'll just have to do my best of putting the camera in there to give you guys an idea of how it looks. It's not stellar, but it's good enough to get used to FPV flying. For example, even if I fly around my house, as soon as it gets out of line of sight and I go around a corner or something, I mean, depending on how thick the walls are, it usually cuts almost completely out. So just to give you a general idea, you know, if you're looking to get this for your house, you know, if you go in other rooms and you get a few dry walls away from yourself, it's probably going to lose signal. Yeah, so what else is there about the Tinyhawk? The camera is adjustable. You know, you can move it up and down a little bit for your preference. You know, the amount of maintenance you have to do on this is absolutely minimal. If you're looking to get an FPV drone and you want to spend the least amount of money, you don't care about recording, you don't want to get into crazy repairs and have to learn how to program and all this stuff, I think the Tinyhawk 2 is probably the drone for you. The transmitter, final thing to kind of go over here that it came with, it works. It's got trim buttons, you know, it's got grip. This arming switch was definitely a new thing for me. I mostly fly, you know, DJI drones, and they don't have this. And, you know, the way it works is basically you have your throttle down, you flip up into the armed position, and when you're in the right spot, the blades will start spinning, but it won't take off, and then it's all on you. Remember, that's the biggest difference between drone flying and FPV drone flying is, you know, you're doing the throttle 100% of the time. As you can see, this stick doesn't snap back to the middle. So, you know, when it's down, you're falling out of the sky. And that's so you definitely can do flips and stuff with this drone. Maybe you can do flips with it. I can't yet. I just, this is probably the first drone I've actually had that is designed for manually doing flips. I've had drones that have like flip features, but this is the first one where, you know, you can tip it, shut the props, let it flip, turn them back on. But a lot of times I turn the props back on when the drone is like this, and then it just powers into the ground. And as you can tell, this thing doesn't even look crashed. I have probably crashed it 30 or 40 times. And some of them were very aggressive. I think my dog even probably bit it once. But it's hanging in there. So I think that's enough of that, and let's fly it so you guys can see how it flies. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take off and I'm gonna hover right here, and then I'm gonna get as close to the camera without hitting it as I can to give you guys an idea of how hard it is to hover this thing. You know, it's just full-on manual control. I always do my best to balance this little battery. It's just held in by 2 rubber bands on the back side here. So you want to put it as close to the middle as you can. You have trim buttons, so if you see your drone drifting in a direction, you can easily fix it. Cool, you hear the noises? Oh, I had my switch in the wrong position, so put that all the way down. Have my throttle all the way down, and then this is where I put the switch all the way up to arm it, which it will tell you in the goggles when you have those hooked up. I'm gonna do this first flight without them. Okay, throttle up maybe, throttle down, and then switch it up. I feel like you do absolutely have to long press and turn on your transmitter. Yes. It will not fly without your transmitter turned on. All right, let's try that again. So I go to armed. Props are on. Let's get it up in the air. Oh yeah. It's all about little movements. At first you really want to move it too much. So that's me trying to hold it about as steady as I can. It's actually shockingly steady. You know, I might have had, this is the kind of drone where if you even have your air conditioner on, it's probably going to make a huge difference. Because I was flying earlier with my air conditioner on, and I was having a much more difficult time. Oh yeah, great control. This drone flies so great. I often find myself flying it without the goggles just because of the issues. I'm just not used to it. Maybe there's no issues. I'm the issue. Let's try this out. So I want to give you guys an idea of what it looks like looking through here. So here's my idea. I'm gonna turn it on, and then I'm gonna, oh no, did I leave it on? Don't worry, I have a battery pack on hand. So we're gonna turn this on, and everything is really shockingly like, you know, plug and play. A lot of it just kind of seemed to work. I think I may have left this on and killed the battery. So I'm just gonna plug it into my power brick here. It doesn't have, you know, this brick, it's kind of funny. It doesn't have a power switch on it, so you just gotta unplug it when you're done. There's a few little things about the Tinyhawk too, but you know, this is a really budget drone, so. All right, so we're just gonna let that charge for a moment. So, you know, looking at this headset, when you go to put it in the case, these do both come off, these antennas, and they do fold, which isn't very useful. You don't really need to fold them. You do have a few buttons on top here. You can change the channel and the frequency just a little bit. So if you're in a situation where, like, you know, you're sitting right in front of your drone, but it still is just all staticky and whatnot, you're gonna wanna change the channel slightly on here, and you'll see it immediately. It just starts looking better. Let's see if that's enough juice to get this thing on. There we go. All right. Cool. I'm gonna do it again just so that you guys can see it. Get my camera over here. All right. So here's what happens when you plug it in. Hear the little fan turn on in there. And you see that? Let's see if I can prop this up on something for you. So this is how we're gonna have to record this. Like I was saying, unfortunately, there is really no other way. This is how we have to do it. Okay, so better than nothing, guys, bear with me. As you can see, it's already pretty staticky, so I would probably wanna change that. But I'm gonna fly around a little bit just so that you guys can get a general idea of what it looks like, what the reception is like, you know. All right. She flipped. Okay, so I hope that gives you guys a little bit of an idea what it looks like. Let's see here, let me just send it away once. Let's see what happens if I make it go out of range. All right, guys, that's my review of the Tinyhawk 2. It is super freaking fun. I will definitely be flying it around a lot. It's really just one of those for your own pleasure kind of drones because, as you can tell, it's pretty hard to show the footage off. But for practicing your skills and having a good time, I can't recommend the Tinyhawk 2 enough. Thank you all so much for watching. Until next time, thank you for watching Nick Corona. Peace.